What's up? So this is going to be the beginning of a series that'll be a little different for the show, but our hopes is to be able to do one of these about once a week. So what it's going to be is the slow build of my Corolla that I've had for a couple years now. It's a 84 AE86 GTS, so it's the original 4A GE car. A few years ago I got this and somebody else had purchased a swap and kind of set the engine in there, but then like lost interest. And so I picked it up a few years ago and I started to correct a lot of stuff and started to get the engine in. I did motor mounts, and then I did a cross member, and then I ordered some of the billet JSP stuff for like the shifter. But other than that, I haven't really touched the car. My girlfriend, she started to cut the cage out of it because she, wanted to help and get things rolling, but we just got so busy that we kind of stopped in the middle of it. And so, as you can see, the car's originally like that burnt orange color, which is a pretty dope color. So it'll probably end up that same color when we're done. But what I want to do is once a week put together just a video of things that we need to do, and some fabrication and some body work. I'm absolutely terrified of what's behind these over fenders because when this car was built, there was like drift kids were just cutting things and like doing things like spraying expanded foam in there, and I'm just extremely scared of what I'm gonna find. And so as I can kind of tell already, like there's something going on back there. This has been crushed in, but honestly, it's not too bad. Probably we'll just fix this corner, and then once it's got a kit, and if there's any rust, which it appears there is a little bit, we'll patch it and make it nice. I might cut this whole thing out, but sorry if it sounds like I'm getting over a cold. I am. But so anyway, yeah, it'll just be a slow process. But first things first. The front of this car was mangled pretty bad, but these were straight, and so I left the inners. I don't want to do like a full tube chassis because I want this to still be like a street car in a way. It'll just have a heater and just like some half interior with like a really mild cage. Probably get the cage from my buddy Rob, who has cage kits. He's got a really tight like Corolla cage. But so yeah. First thing we're gonna do is I'm just gonna set up a camera and pull all this stuff out because sort of been using it as a storage and been throwing parts in there as I collected them. Collected a lot of interior pieces from my buddy Devin, who has the YouTube channel Dr. Garage, which I'll drop a link here. So I've just been throwing stuff in there, and so I'm not even sure everything that I have, but I mean, look at this. Is that like a normal Corolla thing? I'll have to find some hinges or something. Another thing is, check this out. This doesn't work on either side. So I have to take the door panel off and find out what it is. But in order to shut the door, you've got to like pick up on it pretty good to get it to close. And so lots of regular like 80s Japanese stuff. But yeah, get everything out, kind of take an inventory of what I have. I'll probably cut the rest of the cage out today and just get that out of the way entirely. It's gonna suck at the base plates because you're gonna have like a bunch of metal to grind out. So I'll probably cut the cage out and then get that done. And then over the probably next week, we'll start building a radiator support. The radiator support is gonna hold the radiator, but it's also going to, this is a pop-up car, it's not 11. So it's got pop-up lights. So I'll have to come up with something like this that I did on my RX-7, so that with the tube front, I still have like a functioning pop-up light, but I'll do it on this. And so I'll probably need to order a body kit soon to kind of figure out where everything is, or find some steel. When you do a tube front like this, if you do it with fiberglass fenders, chances are your stuff is going to end up in the wrong spot, especially if it's a cheap kit. Like I bought some like really inexpensive fiberglass fenders for this car initially, and man, they were like terrible, like not even usable. Once I eventually got steel fenders and then used them to build everything, and then went to put the fiberglass ones on, and they were 100% unusable. Like it would have been hours and hours of fiberglass work to even get them to look okay. So I just rolled these and pinched them until they got enough clearance to run the steel fenders, but I'll have to come up with a solution later. But yeah, so cool. I'll just kind of set up the camera and then dig all this stuff out, and then we'll go over what I have. I know I have a radiator and I bought some clutch parts and such, but there might actually be stuff in here from other cars as well. We'll find out. This is everything that was in the car. This dash is the dash that came with the car, but it's like cut up and broken, and I probably only kept it because this heater control switches were on it, so I'll probably just take that off and throw the rest of this away. But because I've got a new dash there, but that bit's missing. So anyway, so here's just like an arc light panel, actually. Arc panel, ARC panel that came with the car when I got it. So that's good to have for power distribution and such. Looks like I've got a cluster too, which also you want to have the cluster. It's boring if you don't. Oh, what's this? There's actually a wideband in here? I wonder, which one is it? Oh, hell yeah. It's the same one that's in my RX-7. That's usable. That's dope. Cool. I forgot, I must not have even known that was in here. What is this? That's trash is what that is. That's, who knows? I don't know why this is in here. Random brackets, random hardware, which is dope because all the Toyota stuff is actually fine thread. So that's good. Some strut mount things. I don't know, maybe I'll use them. Maybe I'll throw them in the trash. What is this? Oh, the relay panel for the arc switches. That's cool. Self-tappers. Those are awful. 4AG cover. So anyone who doesn't know, this engine, or this car, would have come with a 4AGE. And sometimes I actually wish it still had one in it, because it's like, the beams is cool, but 4AGE with like ITBs is cooler. So yeah, has anyone ever seen one of these engines with the cover off? It's atrocious. In case you've never seen it. Yeah, I know. So you'll probably never see a beams without this cover on it. But anyway, so yeah, back to what I was doing. What else do I have? Headlight bucket with the surround, so that's good. Hopefully I have the other one. I have the other cover, but I don't know where the other headlight bucket would be. Beams computer. I think these are wiper blades for the Corolla. Don't know for sure. Fans. They're probably Chinese junk, so we'll hang on to them because maybe we'll use them or maybe we'll find some better ones. Like I said, here's the ECU. Stick that aside. Here is some more interior pieces, courtesy of my friend Devin. He's a gangster. One more time, I'll drop his link right here. Dash. This is the full beams harness, but one point of it has been cut. I don't remember which one. Which kind of blows, but honestly not that bad either. And then Somewhere I also have an IS300 full harness and like ECU box because it's all the same. And so I'll use that to get this going. But the car is pretty bare. Like there's nothing in it. Someone's ripped everything out. And so you can see we started to cut the cage out, but probably got distracted. So I'm gonna do the rest of that today. Cut that out and then kind of just get this junk all vacuumed out. And then maybe start taking the sound mat out. We are gonna do a cage by my buddy Rob, the Cage Kits one. Oh, if anyone hasn't seen this, this is the JSP shifter. So normally your shifter would be clear back here, but he has this cool billet bracket that relocates it forward. It's about, I don't know, 1.5 inches further back than it would have been factory, but still much better than the J106 location. As since I've got all the stuff out of the car, I'm kind of getting to look at the car again and remembering more about it. Delete that, I wasn't even pointing it at me. Okay, so now that I've got everything out of the car, I'm just going to do like a quick rundown of the car. It's on Megan coilovers. They're probably all bad because they're all old. I think last time I looked, none of them were like blown or leaking. So who knows, they might be good, or they might be bad immediately as soon as we start using them. These wheels are atrocious, but I have like, I don't know, 10 of these, and so we'll just run those. Need to get a tail light. That one's broken. I bet that's 300 bucks. Corollas cost a fortune. Parts for them these days. This car, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a very common thing to take the rear axle from the Celica Supra, which was the same. I think the dimensions are pretty close, but the ring gear is bigger. And then so someone has since done that to this car. So it has a Celica Supra rear axle. I was told that the diff on this car makes a lot of noise. And so my homie Tomas, he, about a year ago, gave me a new center section, but it has a 4:3 ratio, which will be really good with the 6-speed transmission that's in it, the J106. And then the exhaust under it is made of like 5 or 6 rusty pieces of junk, so I'll have to build a new exhaust. But yeah, it's I mean, it's a Corolla. I don't know, they're all pretty these cars weren't built to be like last forever. They were built in the 80s, like they were just built to be fun. So like it shows, like they are thin cars, like there's nothing to them. And so I don't know. Oh, this one's not nearly as bad. Yeah, what I'm gonna do now is just cut the rest of this cage out and get it out of the way, and then probably take that other kick panel off too, unless it's trapped by the cage or something. But man, what happened here? Someone tried to drill a hole with a can opener or it ripped out of the floor. But yeah, it's pretty rough, but definitely usable. It'll probably have, I gotta find carpet, but it'll have the dash and the center console and carpet, and then a really like tight fitting mild cage. I probably won't do any gusseting or anything. If I do, what I'd like to do is just weld the cage to the body and spot sit the cages real close, and just hide the cage, also just for safety reasons too. It really is like not safe to be driving around in a car on the street with a cage. That's not a good idea. So I wonder if this works. Maybe if this doesn't work, we'll probably put a hydro, but a pull-up hydro in the factory location. So yeah, the windshield is not broken. This is, apparently, but the windshield isn't. So I imagine getting a windshield for this is a nightmare. So I'm either probably try to have someone pull it and not break it, which is impossible, or see if I can find one before I get the cage, because that would suck pretty bad to not be able to get a windshield for it. Yeah, that's it. Let's get started on cutting this out. Okay, so I made the mistake of cutting this one down here and then like running into this weld, which will kill the blade immediately. Then I cut it up here and realized that the body of the Sawzall is hitting this and I can't turn it enough. So I'm hoping to just cut the rest of the cage and kind of wiggle that out. This I cut and then it immediately went up like that, so that's good. That's good news. Next, I'll probably cut the other side the same way, and then I gotta cut away from the windows because I would hate to break a window with the Sawzall blade. That would be terrible. Actually, I'm gonna leave that post right there, the A-pillar on the driver's side, so that I can cut this tube here, and then this tube from there down, and then this tube from there down. Once those are out of the way, the cage will fall down, away from the glass and the windshield, and then I can cut that section in half and pull it out the side. Everyone knows that when you do a cage in a car, it's incredibly hard to weld the top right here. What you usually do is build the cage, and then cut holes in the floor, drop the cage down, and that allows you to access the top. Apparently, no one did that here. Man, that's rough. What? Yeah, so like, this is bad because on so many levels. If you're in a collision and this tube is forced this direction or that direction, you have like the weld coming to an end, which means the edge of this weld is hardened and hardened here. And so the leverage is going to take advantage of the brittle spots where the tube is hardened, and it's just gonna pull away from it. So like a tube that isn't welded all the way around is extremely dangerous. It gives you like almost no support whatsoever. But when this car was built, drifting in Utah was still pretty like new. Only a few guys were doing it. And so it's like, wow, how are you supposed to know any better? Plus, it only had a 4 AGE in it, so it can only go like 40 miles an hour. But dang, that's rough, man. Whatever, imagine it's the same back here. Yep. Yeah. It's thank goodness for, it's like back in the day you had to go buy a Harbor Freight bender and then a MIG welder and then figure it out, right? And then nobody was sanctioning drift events for cages. You could drift without a cage. It's like, the sport's got to start somewhere. But luckily for us now, I did a lot of cages by hand and I enjoy it, but it's, when I do it for people, it's really hard to justify not buying a Cage Kids cage because the cost for the cage is less than $2 grand. I weld them in for anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500, and then they get what essentially would be a $5,000 to $8,000 cage, depending on like gussets and stuff. So yeah, we're pretty spoiled these days. What is this thing? I don't know what that is. Sorry, I just got sidetracked. Anyway, that's rad. Cool, I'm gonna go just cut this cage in half and pull it out the side, and then we should be done. Cut here. 1, 2. Cage is cut in half. This section here is out, ready to come out. This side, the front bit is done. I'll just cut this in pieces and throw it away. I do have a place to go, and so that will wrap up today's. But I'm gonna try and do one of these once a week, get it edited, get it posted, and then hopefully along the way I'll get a little better at this. It does feel weird to just be in your garage by yourself talking, but yeah. I might not just like I'm just gonna jump around and do whatever's convenient and easy at the time, because I don't have a lot of planning time for this project. But I figure if I just knock something out every week until it's done, it should be a running and driving car by early summer. I'm just excited to see it a color other than black. Oh, the black is so bad. I would prefer, like, if this car was the original color but all patinaed and stuff, oh, that would be sick. I would love it, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, it's pretty rad. I probably next week will see if I can't find some hinges, or maybe machine some new bushings and just fix these hinges. That's a possibility. But also figure out why the outer door handles don't work, and then maybe get it on the lift and lift it up and kind of show you guys the bottom of the car and what needs to be addressed down there. But thanks for watching. I hope to do this once a week, so give it a like or a subscribe or whatever the thing you say is, and thanks for watching.